everyone. Thank you for joining me today for our Dao De Jing study. Last week we started chapter 5 and we talked about the first sentence in chapter 5, which is 天地不仁，以万物为刍狗. And we used Stephen Mitchell's translation for this chapter, and he translated the sentence as, let me make sure I have it exactly right. The Tao doesn't take sides. It gives birth to both good and evil. So today we're going to continue with, now we're down to the second sentence, which is 圣人不仁，以百姓为刍狗. Before we start to talk about this, I think I'm not very centered. Okay, maybe this is better. So 圣人不仁，以百姓为刍狗. And Stephen's Mitchell's translation is, the master doesn't take sides. She welcomes both saints and sinners. I want to start by, let's talk about the couple of the nouns in this sentence. One is the first two characters is 圣人. 人 in Chinese means person, means people, human, means like Homo sapien, means us. And 圣人, 圣, this is the adjective to describe this 人. So what kind of 人, what kind of person is a 圣人? If you check the Chinese dictionary, 圣人, the definition for 圣人 is the most have the highest morality and the have the deepest wisdom. People have like that are called 圣人. So you know 圣人 is a very, when you call someone a 圣人, for example Confucius, in Chinese culture, people call him 孔圣人. Kong is his family name. So 圣人, you can see now it's a person at a very high level, either with morality or wisdom. Therefore, you often see it's translated as the master, the sage. And here, since we talk about Dao De Jing, I think 圣人 also, based on our previous study, 圣人 can also be explained as is a person that knows the Tao, knows the way, and therefore acts in harmony with the Tao, with the nature's law. I mean, it makes sense what make a person that is most moral, most wise, right? It's the person who really has a deep understanding of the truth, of the way, of the Tao, and then like we talk about it, then this kind of a person will naturally also have 德. 德, Dao De Jing. 德 means the expression of Tao, and 德 means do things that follow the way of Tao. So now we have a good understanding what 圣人 is. And there's another word in the sentence that's 百姓. 圣人不仁，以百姓为刍狗. Sorry, excuse me for a sec. I had my window open and I wonder if it's a little loud. Okay, good. We got some fresh air, so that was good. Okay, back to 百姓. 百 in Chinese means 100, and 姓 means a person's last name, a family name. Also, it means all the people who's in the family and usually has the same family name. And we've talked about before, like we talked about 万物, 天地不仁, 以万物为刍狗. 万 means 10,000. And here, often in Chinese, we use this big word to just means for like a broad meaning. It doesn't mean specifically 100 family. It means the people, 百姓. 百姓, this word 百姓 is usually just means like, you know, all the people, say maybe in the country, or all the people that you can say in living in certain area. So now you can see, okay, I printed out the first two sentences in pretty big fonts. You could see, so the first sentence, 天地, heaven and earth. We can also say it's nature. So 天地不仁, 以万物 means all beings in nature, 为刍狗. 刍狗, we talk about that. It's the straw dog that's used for ceremony in ancient times. And look at the second sentence, 圣人不仁, 以百姓为刍狗. So you can see these two sentences are actually quite similar, right? So basically it just switched. So 天地 is the subject in the first sentence, and it got switched to 圣人. And 万物 is the object in this first sentence, and the second sentence it changed to 百姓. So you then, you know, with the first sentence, we can pretty easily figure out the second sentence means, you know, the master, the sage, is not kind because he or she take the people, consider them as a straw dog. We have talked about in one of our previous lessons that in Dao De Jing, one of the very famous phrase that you often hear people say is 人法地，地法天，天法道，道法自然. It means 人 we know means humans. We follow the rule of the earth. The earth follow the rule of the heaven, means a bigger system that the earth is in. And 天法道, and this the system, this 天, this heaven follows the rule of Dao, and 道法自然. Dao follow the rule of nature. Or you can also explain saying Dao is the rule of the law of nature. So after this sentence, then it makes sense pretty clearly. So 圣人 is the kind of a person that knows and follows the way of Dao. So follow the way of nature. So when so if nature is considers all being as a straw dog, makes sense, then the next sentence is how would 圣人 do? How would this master, the sage, do things? And they also as considering the people as like a straw dog. In ancient times, people, it seems this is more talking almost like to like maybe somebody who's in decision-making position, who has power, right? So they say 圣人 will treat the people as straw dog. And in older times, people believe that the people who should hold the higher position, who should have that power, who can qualify to be someone in that kind of decision should be 圣人, should be the people who knows the way, so they can be the best leader, we can say, that leads the people also to then follow the Tao. We wish that's true these days too, right? So you can say, okay, so we explained that how nature, how last week we talked about how is nature showing its deep true love to all beings. And then 圣人, the sage, the master, should do the same to the people. And so we'll think how would this related to how could this relate to ourselves, to our everyday lives? And how can we love our what's in our world, just as nature loves all beings? How could we do this? How could we utilize and apply this wisdom to our own lives? And let's think about what's the relationship between all beings and nature. What is the relationship? Can any being in nature be separate from nature? Can we do that? We can't, right? So there is this deep connection between the nature as a whole and every being in nature. It's this just innate connection. And this connection is very important. It's essential. I really like, there's a famous Chinese psychologist, also author of many books, and his name is Wu Zhihong. And I really like to listen to and read his writings. What struck me, I remember I just recently watched one of his teaching videos, and he talked about, he said, what is love? We all want to love. If you're a parent, you want to love your children. And we all have things in our lives that we want to love. And what is love? What is love? And he talked about love is connection. When you connect with someone, when you truly connect with someone, or it doesn't have to be someone, when you truly connect with something, with whatever you're doing, that's when love starts to flow. That's how when someone would think about you feel like someone truly sees you, understands you, truly connects with you, and that's when you feel that love happens. Love is always here. Let's say love is always here, and that's when you can feel, you can more feeling it. And so he actually talked about a story I would like to share with you. This is a story about his sister. So for a while, his sister was living with him, and so was helping him. He was a busy person, so his sister will cook for him. However, he said that his sister is an awful cook. He was just the food she made was just so bad that for a couple times he had to really spit it out. I mean, certainly he didn't want to hurt his sister's feelings, so he went to the bathroom and he spit it out. So one day he decided he's going to talk to his sister. And because he grew up with his sister, so he knows his sister very well. So he asks, like, when you cook, were you like in your okay, let me back up a little bit. And he knows that his sister has always wanted to do something big. Like he was like start a business or doing something that will make more money or have a better life. So he asks his sister, so when you were cooking, was it your head is actually all thinking about your big plans? Hi, Paula. Thank you for joining. His sister says, yeah, because cooking is not important. My plan, we're trying to figure out what my next adventure, my entrepreneur is like my business is gonna be. It's much more important. And he said, it's like when you cook, when your mind is somewhere else, you have your thoughts doing something else. You're actually not making a connection with what you're doing. And at the same time, you couldn't really go out and execute your idea you're doing your business. You're actually not just wasting your time there, and that's why your food tastes so bad. And his sister take in his advice, and he started to, when she cooked, she started to be more focusing on what she's doing. So in a way, she's actually making connection with the food, with cooking. And Wu Zhihong said that her cooking improved tremendously just since from then on. That's just that's what I found very helpful when I heard that story, because it helped me to realize the importance of making connection, focusing on what you're doing at the moment, gave all your focus. Because what happened in your moment now is, people say focus on the now, there's only now. Whatever happened now is the most important for you at the moment. And to give the most important, give the fully focus, it's not only what you deserve, it's whatever this moment deserves. And that's how you make the connection. You make every moment, we make every moment meaningful. And connection, when we actually get in the habit of doing this, we'll realize this actually can have magical effects. Make me think about, I don't know how many people in Wu Healing Group have you seen Kim Flack's testimonial that she put it on probably just this past weekend, a few days ago. If you have seen this video, you heard her talk about how she had this ostomy block, and she went to Ming, and Ming ended up pressing down on the P6, the acupressure point that's called 内关. And you hear Kim talking about saying it really hurts when Ming pressed on this point. However, very quickly that she noticed that her block went away. And she said that that point hasn't been a problem before, and Ming hasn't worked on that point for her before. And I remember Paula, good to have you here. So Paula asked that, so how did Ming know to work on this point, right? And I think it was Angela. Angela said intuition, and Ming later on confirmed. Ming says, yeah, Angela was right, answer the question. So intuition, how do we get intuition? intuition, my understanding is that intuition, also like instinct, also you can call it just knowing. Knowing only comes when you have truly make a deep connection with, for Ming's case, with the patient. And you can be whatever you do, make a connection with the people, with maybe animal, with whatever you're doing, and that deep connection is where when you build that this deep connection, this channel, that's when information can come to you. That's when intuition can happen. That's why I know a lot of people in Wu Healing group are also Ming student. I'm Ming student. We're all trying to learn healing methods to help other people to get better. And you know that Ming asked all of his students to meditate. He's teaching meditate in Wu Healing group with everyone. Everyone can enjoy, benefit from meditation. And also the students are asked to practice Lao Zi Tai Ji Zhuang. Lao Zi Tai Ji Zhuang is a method that Ming developed. It's this standing meditation. All of these methods, what are they trying to do for you? Is for you to be able to make a connection. Maybe first start with your body, and then you can more connect with even people that's not your immediate body. Even though if you read the book Law of One, Ra calls self and other self. So there's no self and others. It's yourself and your other self. I love that. It's just so beautiful. So oftentimes, remember in Wu Zhihong's sister's case, the story I was just telling you, and our head are filled with thoughts, and our thoughts are like a veil. So it's not, you can still see through a veil. So you can still cook, you can still do things. However, what the veil does is it builds a barrier. It keeps the deep connection from happening. So when you're getting into whether you're treating a patient, whether you're doing a project, when you were able to quiet your mind and you'll be able to really build this connection with whoever you're with and whatever you're doing, that's when you will be like, what you need to know will come to you as intuition. Because thoughts, how are thoughts, how we come up, like how the thoughts, what thoughts based on? Thoughts are all based on maybe our past experiences, right? Or if a thought cannot based on things that we don't know. And however, things are constantly changing. For example, like Ming, this Kim Flex case is a very good example. Like, traditional Chinese medicine has existed for thousands of years. And certainly these like acupressure point qi channels, they've been discovered by people and utilized by Chinese doctors for thousands of years. And that's, the P6, that's what Ming still use. And in Tui Na, we're still using going down the acupressure points. However, things are constantly changing. Like Kim's case, like ostomy. In ancient China, not even, I don't know, even 100 years ago, there was no ostomy surgery. Nobody has this kind of a issue. So this is certainly a new thing that happens. And if you just use the whatever's in the book, in the old knowledge, you don't really know how to connect it with whatever is at the moment, then that's not enough. Because there's no book, no traditional Chinese book that tell you which point you should press for ostomy block, right? And so once we have that knowledge, how we best utilize the knowledge is to for us to be able to make this kind of a connection, like what Ming did with Kim. That's also, that's very much, situation. Like when said, that's what I said. On the other hand, okay, all the you may run into the same, a new situation. However, the principle behind it, like, be in the moment. For example, making me think about, like, actually connection, like learn, doing things with intuition. It's just innate in all of us. It's just sometimes we just kind of, I don't know, or maybe we can say we lost touch with it. I mean, the simple things, for example, is when you feel hungry, you go find some food to eat. When you are thirsty, you go drink. And that's intuition are simple like that. And for example, that's what Chan, Chan is the Chinese Zen. What Chan is, there is a phrase in Chan, it says, 渴来喝水，困来眠. People say, what's Chan? What's Zen? Is Zen this thing that's so up here that, only you practice for 10 decades, you'll be able to reach the level, the Zen master that really knows? No, here you see the Chan master is telling you, what's Chan? Chan is 渴来喝水, means when you're thirsty, you drink water. 困来眠 means when you're sleepy, when you're tired, you take a nap. It's like that. So intuition, or these, it's all innate in us with what we all have. It's just sometimes when we lose touch, maybe also we lost touch with our intuition. When we need to make a decision, what do? That's when we go to our head. We trying to use our mind to make the decision. However, that's certainly a bigger job, maybe that than our mind is made of doing. So in a way, it's not fair for our mind, and it's to be putting out to this responsibility to make what's the best decision at the moment. And we all learn. That's what I've been practicing. I was one that has been, have been very educated. You could say I have a PhD, and however, I was a person that's have been heavily relied on our head. I feel like everything. I need to basically make decision, thinking things through, and if something that my head can understand, I don't trust it. So I'm slowly trying to learn to follow also my intuition, and it has worked out very well for me. And so it's a process. I think the more you do, the more you practice, and the more you're gaining back that ability that we all originally have. And so that will be something that I will certainly continue. And if you think that sounds speaks to you, maybe if you have any example in your life, I would like to hear about it. Okay, it's 10:30, so I will see you next week. Thank you for joining me this week. And next week we'll continue our study of Chapter 5 of Dao De Jing. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye-bye.